Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. I have Adi with me. Adi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh,
How are you?
yeah, good. Thanks. Interesting weekend. Loads of penalties, soft ones, lots of tight calls. Let's start with the one with two penalties, Chelsea versus Leeds. What do you make of the game? I mean, 3-2, really last minute winner. Things that champions do, or potential champions.
Yeah, I mean Chelsea are really struggling at the moment. The front line ain't firing, and that's like two games in a row where Alonso's defending has been quite circumspect, and it's causing them issues now. So I think, yeah, I mean the result they did deserve it. Leeds were the better team. Second half, they had a whole load of chances. It's an excellent game because that's the first time I've seen Leeds in a long while play 1-2 touch football, really physical. If they played it like it was a derby game, which historically Leeds and Chelsea fans don't like each other. There's a lot of historically they've had a lot of battles in the past, and I don't know. It seems like that motivated the Leeds players, but uh, this was the first time it looked like the Leeds of old, where the tempo was unbearable, like so fast paced, quick 1-2 touch football, really taking the game to Chelsea and attacking the central areas. Taking the ball under pressure in the central areas, they really dominated the game. So it felt really harsh for Leeds, but naive defending. I mean, even that last one, as soft as it is, why even go through of the back of a defender? And,
Rudiger, yeah. Well, I mean, Rudiger pretty much got 2 assists, you can say.
Yeah, I mean, he's attacking a lot and he's pushing up a lot more, and he's trying like all manner of passes and dinks and scoops. He's trying it all to set people free. So he's really expanded his game.
He definitely wants that new contract, isn't it? He deserves it. He deserves it. So, in terms of one player I wanted to focus on is Mount. He seems to be gaining his old form back, and he's really pushing that team forward like he done last year.
Yeah, the wisdom tooth has been taken out. He's like that was the problem all along with his toothaches was causing him problems, but he's a quality player. At the end of the day, we spoken about him so much last season, how much he's developed, his work rate, his intelligence, he's comfortable on both foot. He's just like Tuchel even admitted, one of the first names on the team sheet. I think that's what's making it difficult now in terms of trying to get the right balance up top. Because now that they've signed Lukaku, they're struggling to fit him in because they got Havertz, who in the last 2 games that he started, he's looked really good as a false nine. He's become really good at committing the centre backs, turning them, creating space for the others. So he looks, even though hasn't got the goals, his performances have deserved more. And he's causing defenders a lot of problems, and he's creating a lot of stuff with his play. So he's actually playing quite well, even though he's not getting the goals. So it's tough to see where Lukaku really is going to fit, because if they bring Lukaku back and then you move Havertz's position,
yeah,
and then you got Werner, who's like seems like he's getting his a bit of goal scoring form back. So,
but it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. But I think
it's not when you have your number one striker, but he doesn't fit the system better than the other players.
Yeah. Well, but then
your number one striker is still the number one striker. He has to play.
But that's what I'm saying. Then the Chelsea as a team should have thought of that before, right? Before buying him, if he's going to fit your system, if that's the system you're going to play.
Well, I think everyone would have thought he did fit the system, but what Chelsea don't do is they don't hardly ever try playing through the middle. They do a bit more when Havertz is there because he's really good at showing for it and making the right angles for the passes to come in. But yeah, I don't think what the way they play Lukaku is the way they play Tammy Abraham, which is just as posting up and he's more man marking the defenders than the defenders marking him. That does actually suit his game. He's actually better at running in behind or facing the goal rather than playing back to it. And even though he can do it, his basically his movement isn't that good when he's just given that target man role.
Yeah.
Because all he tries doing is pinning a defender. But a lot of times he's never looking to move off when there is good opportunities to move off. So, but look, Lukaku's going to always get goals. He's always going to be back in the team eventually. And Tuchel will most likely fix the situation by playing to his strengths a bit more.
But is there cause for concern in terms of the number of goals they're conceding? Obviously, it seems to be they've been leaking a lot more goals than before.
Yeah, but obviously it's been a bit destabilized, isn't it? I mean, Christensen's just coming back in. They're having Chalobah played there before. What surprised me is how much they've stopped using or relying on Azpilicueta, which kind of hints to me that maybe they're looking to move on from him in the summer because they're not even negotiating to renew his contract.
Yeah,
he's a club captain, so now suddenly the fact that he's not really being played, even Chalobah is ahead of him as a centre back now, which we saw last year. He played that centre back role, and he was effectively doing what you're seeing Rudiger do now, which is join the attack and really dribble and make things happen.
Commit the team,
So, yeah, it seems like, but I wouldn't worry because they got good defense. They're going to a wobbly patch. They'll fix it.
I mean, going to a wobbly patch, still winning, so really not too bad. Next team, let's look at Stevie G returning to Anfield. What did you make of Aston Villa?
Yeah, Aston Villa, they showed the commitment. They tackled hard. They defended for their lives. They showed really good attitude. But I felt like they may have over-respected Liverpool. They never played to their strengths either. I mean, only Watson is a very difficult guy to handle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They do have strengths as well that I think they should have focused on a bit more. But ultimately, they gave Liverpool a tough game. They competed the whole way, and it was an easy victory. It was a rather
soft.
Well, it's a penalty that was won. I would say it was won by Salah rather than being natural. Nothing about it was natural, but you have to feel slightly sorry for Mings because what else is he meant to do?
Yeah,
but. That's the cleverness of Salah and these type of players is as soon as they get you slightly out of position, they will make sure that they put their foot somewhere where the contact will be made. Yeah. So it's intelligent play, but definitely it's a penalty that was more won than a mistake by a defender. Great penalty though. There was loads of pressure. I mean,
Martinez.
Is there a striker who does more antics for punch to shoot at than Martinez at the moment? I don't think so. I mean, and he went the right way, so you can see how disappointed he was. So,
but he seems to be like on penalties. I don't know. He seems to have got this newfound confidence ever since the Copa America.
Well, it was before. I mean, before that, but he's been on fire for a long time, and definitely on current form. I mean, he is the most informed player.
Um, next team, let's look at Adil Arsenal. I mean, before we go into them, let's talk about this Aubameyang situation because obviously, again for the second time, breach of disciplinary, and he's the club captain. Is that good enough? No matter the reason.
Well, obviously, it's come out now that he went on a trip, and didn't come back the day he was told to come back. So, it just shows a lack of respect for the club as far as I'm concerned, because at the end of the day, no player is bigger than the club. And if you've been given a special, dispensation to go visit your family because of a personal matter, show your appreciation to the club. Come back at the time they've said. If you can't, at least report it or do it properly. I don't know. So I think definitely it's an issue now. And the thing is, the performance of the players makes it a bigger issue. Because even the rumors are that even the players are fed up of his leadership or lack of leadership.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's not a real leader, anyways. I mean, everyone knows that he was kind of given the captaincy because he was the best player there, literally. Then just to keep him.
And they wanted him to sign a new contract.
Yeah, literally.
But it still doesn't take away from the fact that it feels like the club or the players, especially now, have outgrown him, and kind of seems like inevitable parting of the ways eventually.
In terms of captain, who would potentially take over? Because
Give it to Ramsdale.
Huh?
Has to be Ramsdale.
I know what you
Ramsdale,
mean.
no, but you got Ramsdale, you got Ben White, you got leaders there. You can give it to. Dare I say, Xhaka?
See, you stopped me. So I was going to say, do they give it to someone like Xhaka or even Lacazette, who was captaining this weekend? Yeah, because this summer you tried getting rid of Xhaka, then obviously you kept him. Now, do you give him the captaincy and then try getting rid of him a year down the line, or do you give it to someone who will be there or who's part of the long-term plan?
But I think obviously it should be one of the players that's kind of guaranteed to start. So that's true. Leaves you with Gabriel, who seems like he's a bit too young and a bit immature still. So it just kind of leaves Ben White, Tierney, and Ramsdale. But I don't think they'll give it to Ramsdale because he's a live wire. But like Ben White seems like safe pair of hands.
Yeah.
He showed loads of leadership qualities. You see it in the games. So I don't know how vocal he is, but can't go far wrong with Tierney or Ben White. I mean, you had Bellerin as the captain for so many years, so
yeah. I'd love to give it to KT. But in terms of the game, for the first time, I'll start this one. For the first time, the thing we've been complaining about, they didn't do, and that's why I started.
Don't you feel like it's a case of deja vu again?
Yeah.
As in, every time Arsenal start losing or playing that boring style of football where it's just this. I know what it is. I think Arteta thinks every match is a two-legged tie, and it's like he wants to go through on away goals. Every game, it's like they score, and then he goes all tactical on the team.
Especially when they're away from home. He goes extra.
It's this crazy level of tactics and gamesmanship. And the thing I don't like about Arsenal is I actually think they are becoming more and more like Atletico Madrid. As in, they're the most gamesmanship team in the whole league, but I think they're going close to being the worst I've ever seen in the Premier League. I mean, they do. Not everyone picks up on it, but they rely on way too much gamesmanship, and they don't need to because when they attack, they always create chances, and you just think, why do you waste your time doing all these things? Why do you, and this is the best evidence for what we were saying is this weekend where He's under pressure, so he lets them play freely, doesn't get all tactical on them after they go 1-0 up. When was the last time they continued attacking after going 1-0 up?
Haven't seen it. I mean,
Exactly.
we've seen them.
So-
we've gone and seen them live, and we've seen how much they sit off after they go 1-0 up, and it's just like ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's just Arteta's just too much, but this is what he does. When the pressure's on, he lets them play the Arsenal way. Suddenly you see quick, fast combination play, transition. You can see everyone enjoying, and they look like a real team. They look really creative. They have 20 shots on goal. And you think, yeah, this is the Arsenal we all like to see. He gets 2 wins, and then what does he do? He goes back to his methodical, systematic, calling every player to the sideline, giving some pep advice. And you
it'll be interesting to see against West Ham. I think that's a really good game to see how he manages that one really.
It'll be tactical. He's won one game. He'll go back to tactical. He's one of those. He's one of those, managers. He's just a tinker man, and he just can't help.
Are you calling him the tinker man? No, don't disrespect Kadri.
There's not a break in play where he's not calling the players over to try and tell them some tactical information. It's just too much. When he leaves them to it, they look like a very good team that are exciting to watch.
I mean, Odegaard seemed to be finding a bit of form. 3 goals.
Well, he's getting in the box more. I want to say, I'll be honest, I have still not really impressed with his performances, but I still think he's quite anonymous in matches. Like he just doesn't grab the game by the full line. He's not the de facto player on the pitch. It's Saka. It's other players that even this weekend, Martinelli looked really good. It's Lacazette was picking up the ball and making things happen in a 10 position more than Odegaard. So
this is my
he's
point.
Getting goals, but I'm still not convinced by
he's been bought as a 10. He's been bought as a 10, but he plays more like on the right hand side near Saka to do side passes to Saka.
I do think that's
it's just
tactical thing. I think that's Arteta's tactical instructions. He's like that.
But I don't see that flair of a 10 or that. I mean, there was one pass he done, but apart from that, there's nothing. The first 10 minutes, I was actually quite annoyed. I was like, he keeps just giving the ball away. And then he's not
getting involved. It's just not the fulcrum of the team, which you'd expect from a 10. So that's the only thing that surprised me. He's in and out of games, but he's getting in the box. He's showing some composure in getting those goals. They weren't easy finishes. They looked easier than they actually were. So, yeah, and let's just hope Arteta actually learns and stops getting involved so much in tactical information and systems and non-negotiables. Oh my gosh. You can predict his conference. He says the same thing.
That's what I was going to say. I don't even want to listen to the press conference because I know what's going to come. It seems very wrong.
And the other thing is, he's got that thing of like total delusion in the performance. I mean, I heard him say this week after game that the previous 2 games they were the better team and they didn't deserve to lose. And I was like, you definitely were the better team against Everton.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who else was it, United or whoever they lost to. I don't think they were. Well, actually, they didn't play bad against United.
I think they should have won against United.
Yeah, probably. Definitely against Everton.
It was Arsenal's fault for letting United win in terms of Wenger. Not Wenger. What am I talking about? In terms of Arteta and his way he set up. Because we let them into the game. Literally, that's what we did. Let's move on from Arsenal. Man City 1-0 win against penalty again against Wolves. What do you make of that?
That was don't even call that soft. That's not soft. That's just wrong. That's the worst decision. It's definitely in the top 3 of worst decisions this season. Because you can clearly see daylight between the ball and even the armpit.
Yeah.
It hits the traps basically, and goes down. And you know that referee John Moss, I'm telling you, the guy is as dodgy as the now famous Michael Massey of the FIA. They're just dodgy characters, man. He was looking to give City anything and everything. He could feel the players were constantly chatting to him. You could see he's feeling the pressure of these big stars constantly putting the pressure on him. And the frustrating thing was City never ever played well enough to deserve to win. They dominated the game, don't get me wrong. But they actually were struggling to create clear-cut chances against an excellent Wolves team. I mean, their defending was excellent. Even when they went down to 10 men, it was really... it wasn't like they're just sitting off. I mean, they were trying to spring attacks and break. So
what do you make of that red card, though?
The first one was definitely not a yellow card, but once you've got it, it's utter stupidity to continue to block a free kick and minutes. And you can tell he probably didn't get over the injustice of the first one.
Yeah.
The first one, he won the ball. It was never, and that's the thing. John Moss was refereeing the game like that, where he was giving everything to City.
No, but I'm saying,
and that winds players up, and you can see Jimenez was bound up. And then he didn't want to listen to the ref because he's still feeling the injustice of the yellow card. It was bad that he gave a free kick. It was even worse to give it a yellow card. But that's what City do. They influence.
What I was going to say, in situation like that, do you think? I know we don't want VAR too involved in running the game, but in situation like that, does VAR need to get involved? Do you reckon?
VAR can't even make the right decision on where they are mandated. Forget giving them more responsibility. They couldn't even get it right on that handball. It was never a handball.
It was clear. In terms of like when there is decision or when there's a yellow, it's just completely wrong, and you can see.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
especially for a second yellow, do they get
how different is it from a completely wrong penalty and they can see? It's the same thing. They're always gonna back the referee. They're just VAR is just a tool to back the subjective views of the referee. It's a farce now, and no one's calling it out. And there was a point last year where it kind of went down this road where they were over backing the referees, and there was a big backlash from pundits, the media, and every fans. And what did they do? They backtracked. They started to go against the on-field referees' decisions a lot more. Now what's happened? They've gone back to the status quo, and that's the problem with this PG, MLO, whatever they called. All they're interested in is protecting their mates. They're not actually interested in officiating and making the right calls.
You just need independent body to do it.
And even Man City fans, couldn't claim that was a handball. So I just think not enough is being made about the dodgy decisions that VAR is not overruling. That was clear and obvious error.
It won't be made because of obviously it's a big team, isn't it? Right? If it was against a big team.
But it's not to do with against big team. The thing the big teams are getting is they're able to influence these referees to give them the benefit of doubt when it comes to decisions that maybe the smaller teams they won't do. Is it easier to give big decisions for the big team? Of course it is. You can see it. But when it comes to a player that ain't a big star, it's easy to say no to him. It's easy to just throw your hands out and say no way. But you do that with the big star. They're gonna come back at you. So it's obviously a lot more harder to turn down. So I think the influence is more with the referees. But then the problem is VAR ain't correcting it, even when they're wrong. They're too busy trying to back him.
It just like we said before, I think in our previous podcast, we just need an independent body to kind of look into that whole VAR, and I think that would solve a lot of the problems.
Yeah, it shouldn't be ex-referees.
Or
Really
yeah,
shouldn't.
or someone from their team. Yeah, definitely. In terms of next game, Norwich versus United, what did you make of that? I mean, Norwich looked like they dominated that whole of second half.
Yeah, second half they were the better team. They created loads of chances. United really tired. And the good thing was Norwich did what Young Boys did in the second half, which I think could be a chink in the armor of this new 4-2-2 system. 4-2-2-2 system is as soon as you play the ball out to the fullbacks early, it leaves huge gaps because what happens is the one of the inside midfielder, attacking midfielder, ends up going out wide,
Yeah,
and then what happens? The midfielder,
in the middle. Yeah,
McTominay, Fred bombs in to stop the ball going in there, and then what happens is massive gaps, and
yeah.
it's easy to play the ball down the line or into the strikers.
Gilmore had a field day, didn't he? Because he had so much space in that middle because
Yeah,
there was no one picking him up.
so and the thing is, it's exact same thing happened against Young Boys too. When soon as they started to play everything through the fullbacks, it exposed the system, and United was suddenly open because everyone knows they're not going to stop trying to press high.
But why play? Well, I mean, my question is why play that formation if you got players for like a 4-2-3-1 where you could cut this out? You can play. Why? I mean, you're playing Bruno Fernandes more to the right. I know they're the two
No, but
are playing more as a 10, but
it's the philosophy of
yeah, but then surely you got to have a way to how you defeat that middleman, right?
no, but there is when it comes to on the ball.
No, I mean off the ball.
But off the ball, yeah, off the ball, the whole system isn't really about that. System is more about them on the ball. So what they want to do is if the two deep lying midfielders get pressed upon, it's basically all the whole formation is about beating the press. So what happens is you then have two inside midfielders, attacking midfielders. So when you think, oh, if we go into midfield, they're going to get pressed, you can bypass the opposition's whole midfield by going straight into those inside wingers, you could say. But yeah, so I think the whole system is all about overcoming the opposition's press rather than containing the opposition team, which is the bit where sometimes they're gonna, it works, don't get me wrong, but maybe already teams are figuring out go straight to the fullbacks and you're gonna expose
it,
the system and open them up quite easily.
Adi, I'm gonna ask you, so how do you kind of change that to cater for United? So obviously on the ball they can go to this 4-2-2, but what do they do off the ball to cover for that kind of the position?
Well, do what most teams do, in it. Drop one of the strikers into the 10, and move the two 10s as wide players, But the thing is, then that exposes the whole Ronaldo argument about can he press between two centre backs? Can he contain two centre backs and keep the pressure on? He kind of can't, probably. So that's why they want two up top, because then both centre backs are pinned. So
it just seems like obviously he's doing it for obviously Ronaldo, but
no, it's not, because that's his system anyway.
Okay,
that's his system, but it would get totally exposed if he tried dropping one of them in. Because Ronaldo, like, one thing we do know is he can't dominate the press no matter what. He'll do it, and he is doing it.
He's doing it, yeah.
He's pressing and he is sprinting back, but he can't sustain it like some of the top strikers can. They've got energy off the ball that is crazy. He hasn't got that level of fitness. He is 36 at the end of the day.
Yeah. Let me do you like this new position for Fernandes, kind of like on the outside, on the right-hand side? It's kind of a 10, he comes in a bit.
I mean, he's probably been the most disappointing player in this new system. He's struggling. I mean, Sancho's also struggling. You can tell he's not used to play with his back towards goals so much. So then he fumbles his first touch all the time. He gets kind of stuck underneath his, because he's used to facing and running at people and
Side
facing
on,
the defenders and receiving a side on. So, but it's a work in progress, and it's something that they've not had an awful lot of time, and it's quite.
Yeah.
Like I said before, when his appointment was about to be announced, that it's going to be a revolution. So people will have to have patience because these ideas take time to bed in.
Yeah, 100%. No, the reason why I was asking this is because obviously this formation has brought out new tactics and stuff. So
yeah, I mean,
it'd be good for
the issue I have is how Rashford stays on the pitch for that long. I mean, he's kind. I don't know how I can't think of a nice way to say it. He actually is playing like a headless horse, a blind horse with blinkers on. He just runs straight into the defender. He's lost the ball already. He's already kicked the ball to the defender and lost it, and then he continues just running into him. I don't know. I think the desire to play fast, counter-attacking football is getting to his head. And yeah, his performances haven't been good. He looked better when he actually went into one of the 10s and was given the license to kind of roam to the left side. He looked better then, but in the front too, he just doesn't know how to link, doesn't know how to time his runs. It's just really poor performance. Obviously, he is a quality player. Once he gets his rhythm, he'll be better. But I don't know how he stays on the pitch and some of the others come off.
In terms of next team, Leicester 4-0 win against Newcastle. Tielemans Madison looks like
I watched the game and I felt scoreline was harsh on Newcastle. They were quite game. They were quite, just the defending, the back four.
Not good enough.
They're so afraid of challenging anyone that they keep dropping off, and then it becomes really easy for a pacey team. Because what's happening, everyone is coming to the ball. So then what happens is they're dropping off, but then they're seeing there's no one going in behind straight away. So then they reactively try to put a bit of pressure on all the 10s that are on the pitch, and then suddenly it gets dinked over to the one player who makes the third man run.
Yeah.
Really tentative defending.
Do you know what I was going to say?
Even they actually played okay.
Do you know that penalty? Yeah, it looked like what, I forgot his name. It's gone out of my head. He looked like he puts his leg into Lascelles, then actually Lascelles.
Madison.
Yeah,
that was never a penalty. That was a clear-cut dive, and
he actually looked like he puts it into Lascelles, and then obviously.
But that's another one where we've actually seen ones where the contact is slightly more, but it was still a dive being overruled before. Now it seems like they've gone back into that because the media scrutiny ain't there, the pundit ain't on their back. They're going back to that mode of just going with the referees, backing their guy. But there's examples of more questionable dives. Being overruled earlier on in the season. So something has changed in the way they're doing this.
But no, it's just, when they slowed it down, when they're showing the VAR replay and stuff, to me, it seemed a bit obvious the fact that the way he moved his leg towards the Lascelles' leg, etc. So that's why I was surprised.
Also, at a time when Lascelles was pulling his leg back.
Exactly. So that's
really making the contact. And the fact is, he's halfway onto the floor. Both feet is off the floor, so he's already falling. So.
What do you make of the big decision to drop Vardy and go with Daka? Seems like he paid off.
Well, it's not really a big deal because they've done it the week before. So they prioritized the Europa Cup game as the number one. They lost that. They're out of it. I think in the conference maybe or maybe not. I'm not sure. But they're out I think they're out of Europe full stop. So I just think. Yeah, it's not as big a deal as it is. I mean, it will be if it continues, but then they've they've caused themselves a bit of a problem because Daka, not only is he playing well, he offers more than Vardy because his link up
It's good. Yeah, it's really good.
is very good. I mean, he gets into those pockets and he plays it off first time. And then when you got players like Tielemans rushing on, Madison wanting to play on the in that hole, and then Barnes looking to run on. It looks like a better chemistry between them than when Vardy's on the pitch. When Vardy is just looking for someone else to play him in. He does link it up, but he's not as good.
Yeah.
And powerful as Daka.
Do you think? Do you think? I mean, slowly, I think Daka's gonna take over that nine shirt.
Yeah, I mean, they said that last year. They already know who their replacement is for Vardy, and you know,
not a bad replacement.
If you go by performance, Daka is performing and doing more. Than Vardy.
Tielemans, what a penalty, by the way, and that finish as well.
Oh, what a player, isn't it? As soon as he's back, not surprising that they look classy again. And I mean, I was surprised they got the clean sheet. They were lucky in a sense. That's what I mean. Newcastle had chances. They gave effort. The attacking wasn't terrible. It's just the defending. You can't defend that badly and expect to get away with it in the Premier League. So yeah, the defending is terrible, and they got caught out quite a few times trying to play out from the back, and you can tell the players aren't comfortable with it. So Leicester nicked the ball a lot. But yeah, Eddie Howe might be going overboard with playing out from the back with those players anyway. None of them want the ball.
Yeah. Maybe bring in new players who are ready to do that ball playing style, and then go with that. But if these guys ain't ready, I mean, most of them not comfortable on the ball at the back. Fabian Shea is, I would say, probably out of all their defenders that's there.
No, but who is he going to play to? Because
true.
In this game, Shelby didn't want the ball. Most of the players in the midfield didn't want it. So then it ends up that's part of the reason why Joelinton messed up for so many of the goals, because he was the only one kind of showing. But because he was the only one, 3 or 4 players were ready to pounce on him, Leicester players. So, that's sometimes you feel bad for a player who is genuinely giving their all, but they're not realizing that they're setting themselves up for a fall. And sometimes you've got to play a bit smarter. You got to be a bit more selfish in terms of realizing that even though you're trying to do something good for the team, the odds are just stacked up against you. So better off trying to hide further up. Don't be such a hero.
But I mean, he's had a torrid time at Newcastle, so I think he's trying really hard, isn't he? I mean, all the managers keep picking him, so he must be,
because his work ethic is good. I mean, he works hard. He gives his all. You know, that's all you can ask. And he was playing quite well up until this game. So
last team, let's look at Crystal Palace 3-1 win against Everton. What do you make of them? I mean, Gallagher running the show again.
Yeah, he's like the find of the season, isn't it? He's this year's Mason Mount, ain't he? The breakout star, you know, almost a shoe-in. Well, I should say this year's Mason Mount and Bukayo Saka. But yeah, he's the shoe-in for the young player of the year. I think we could close that whole debate now, because it'll be definitely him. And the only other one you could potentially say is Greenwood, but he's not playing enough.
Long way to go.
Nah, it's sealed. He's already got 9 goals. It's sealed. He's nearly hit double figures. And look at his character. I mean, it's not just the goals. I mean, he's impacted every game in some way. He's not hiding.
But you know what is his composure and wanting the ball all the time, especially for Palace and
the thing is,
beating that press.
He's never played a 10 before. He's playing that 10-ish role this season. It just shows how technically good he is, how quick, what a fast learner he is.
And he wants to go back to Chelsea. I mean, Mount version 2 Mounts playing for Chelsea. Could you imagine that?
Well, he'll probably go back to playing slightly deeper, which he done an excellent job with with
He's a
West
really
Brom
good box to box
last
as well,
year.
isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Again, bringing it back to you, Mr. Arsenal. Why you look at the way Chelsea are developing their talent, and Arsenal have had equally similar amount of talent, and they're rotting on the bench, not even in the squad. You know, you still look at Maitland-Niles, you look at Reece Nelson, you look at Balogun, you look at Eddie Nketiah. Something has gone wrong in
It's the way it's
their
managed. isn't it?
planning for these players, because you look at the way Chelsea, every single one of those players have come through. You know,
And they're gonna get value for it, even if they sell it, they're gonna get
Loftus-Cheek,
value for it.
you know, Mount, some of them have made the final step, you know, but they've all done, you know, Reece James spent a couple of years at Wigan in League One to build up his game. You know, you're looking at Conor Gallagher now.
I mean, you look at
Even
Alaba,
you look at
Alaba,
you
look
know,
at Market Gui.
where he went to,
Yeah.
you know,
Palace.
they're making money out of them because people have seen seasons where they stood out at the championship.
Yeah.
Look at Tomori, he went for good money. So, yeah, just another side thing to have an extra dig at, you know, the Arsenal board and this plan. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But Chelsea are a factory that is, you know, one of the best at finishing.
This team got so many players out on loan. It's unreal.
Yeah, you look at even the other one, Broja at Southampton, looks a player.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad there is no B team, because you know Chelsea.
Don't forget what's his name, the right back, Valentino Levante.
Well, they sold him,
but still, it's a Chelsea product, right?
Yeah, same with the one in Brighton, the right back.
Oh, Lamptey, yeah.
Lamptey. So they just got a conveyor belt of, you know, players, and like I said, if there was a B League, Chelsea would win it every year with the players they're developing.
Oh, quick one before we finish. What did you make of this Champions League redrawing?
Yeah, it's basically someone didn't understand which balls to put into the pot. So no, the funny thing is the way they tried fixing it on the spot and continuing is like, dude, you've messed up so badly, you've confused everyone. Just stop the whole thing and start again.
Yeah.
But the way they tried to, what can I say? They tried doing another FIA style. You know, so nah, definitely.
It's funny people saying, "Oh, how Chelsea get Lille again."
The draw is the draw, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I actually think, you know, Atletico Madrid is probably a tougher tie for. And no one will agree, but I think we're united. Atletico Madrid is a tougher.
You reckon?
Yeah, because the gamesmanship. I mean, yes, even the games there against Liverpool. I mean,
yeah,
it's just so intense. It's barely any football being played. It's just so much antics.
That's
and you can see this United team being too naive for it.
Could you imagine?
But you do have Ronaldo, who's famous for scoring against Atletico.
Yeah.
So,
well, do you know what I was looking forward to is Messi versus Ronaldo again. So I was like, oh, that's amazing draw.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe next round.
They both don't have that draw.
Maybe next round. Last one ever, eh?
I'd be more excited to watch, you know, Mbappe and Neymar against Sancho and Fernandes. Them guys are.
I think you're gonna say Rashford.
Please. The whole set of blinkers on.
I do. Thank you for coming on today. Thank you all for watching. Do like, share, subscribe, and see you soon.